Welcome to Mindset Monday, where we don't play nice with your excuses. This is the Bad Influence Podcast, the one they warn you about. I'm Jordan Banderas, and I'm not here to soothe you. And I want you to understand that, because I'm here to wake you up. So if you're tired of overthinking every move, if your mind feels louder than your life, if fear has been calling the shots behind the scenes, this episode is your intervention. So take a breath, drop your shoulders, because you don't need to perform here. You need to be honest. Because today we're rebuilding strength from the inside out. But let's clear something up right now. Strength is not the absence of fear. Let me say it again for those in the back. Strength is not the absence of fear. If it were, most of the strongest people you've ever met wouldn't even exist. Strength is the quiet belief that no matter what hits you, you'll adapt. You'll adjust and you'll rise. Here's the thing. Power fades. Confidence wobbles. Motivation disappears without warning. But belief stays when everything else collapses. When you hear the word strong, what do you picture? Most people imagine dominance. Some imagine control. Some imagine force. Others imagine muscles clenched against the world. Teeth gritted, jaw locked, chest puffed. Always ready for impact. But real strength is quieter than that. Oh yes, it's steadier, it's deeper, and it's way less theatrical. It's the calm knowing that even if this breaks you down, it won't break you open. Here's the reality most people fail to see. Long before you acknowledge your strength, you were surviving. You were reacting. And you were managing chaos. Because you learned early how to read rooms, how to anticipate moods, how to brace before impact. You didn't call it strength back then. You call it getting through the day. You didn't feel powerful. You felt alert. You felt hyper aware, on guard all the time, right? And somewhere along the way, you confused vigilance for resilience. Yes, you did. I've seen this on a lot of people, and I've done it as well. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that strength meant pushing harder, grinding more, forcing outcomes, muscling through the pain without blinking. You learned that vulnerability was dangerous, that slowing down meant weakness, that fear meant failure. So you replaced belief with effort. You tried to outwork doubt. You tried to outrun fear. You tried to overpower uncertainty. But pushing without belief doesn't make you strong. It makes you exhausted. Strength isn't how much you endure. It's how deeply you trust yourself when endurance fails. Right now, notice your breath right now. Is it shallow, guarded, controlled? Well, let me tell you, that's not random. That's history living in your chest. Your body learned fear before your mind had language. It learned tension before it learned your philosophy. It learned contraction before confidence. Strength isn't ignoring that. Strength is learning to move with it. I used to think I was fragile. Not weak on the outside, fragile on the inside. I saw myself as a victim of circumstances, of childhood, of situations I didn't choose. Every setback felt personal. Every challenge felt unfair. Every hard moment felt like proof that life was against me. I survived, but I didn't trust myself. I kept waiting for the next thing to break me. Oh, yes, I did. Then, all of a sudden, my wife got sick. And in one moment, the victim story didn't matter anymore. Fear showed up loud. Uncertainty sat in my chest. Control disappeared overnight. I didn't feel strong. I'm gonna be honest, I felt terrified. But something interesting happened. I didn't collapse. I adapted. I adjusted. I rose. Not confidently, not gracefully, but anyway. That's when it hit me. I wasn't fragile. I had just been telling myself that story. Because when life actually tested me, I stood. Not because I was fearless, but because something inside me refused to disappear. I started looking back at everything I'd survived. The losses, the chaos. Oh, there was a lot of chaos. The moments I thought would destroy me. And then I realized I adapted every single time. That wasn't luck. That was belief waiting to be acknowledged. And here's the thing. Fear never disappeared. Doubt still showed up. Confidence still wobbled. But something deeper changed. I stopped asking, what if I fail? And started asking, what if I rise again? That question changes how you stand, how you speak, how you move through uncertainty. And you need to ask yourself that question. And if you're honest, you've already lived this. Yes, you have. You've been scared before. You've been unsure. And you felt unprepared. And yet, you survived. You adapted. You recalibrated. But instead of trusting that, you dismissed it. You minimized it. You called it just getting by. Well, that's the lie. Because fear isn't the enemy. Fear asks one question. Can you trust yourself without guarantees? Most people can't. So they freeze. They wait. They avoid. And it's not because they're incapable. And I want you to understand that you're not incapable. But this happens because they don't believe they'll recover if things fall apart. Once you trust your ability to adapt, fear loses leverage. Falling stops being the end. And it becomes feedback, a data point, another rep in the gym of life. You don't need certainty. You need self-trust. And you need to start working on that right now. Because without belief, fear runs a strategy. Without belief, you wait too long. Without belief, you abandon yourself before the fight even begins. You don't fail loudly. You stall quietly. That's how lives shrink. And you've been shrinking for far too long. Here's the truth most people avoid. You're not held back by lack of power. You're held back by lack of belief. Believe that you can figure it out. Believe that you can stand back up. Believe that even broken, you're still dangerous. Imagine how you move if you knew no challenge could outgrow you. You'd stop rehearsing failure. You'd stop waiting for readiness. You'd stop abandoning yourself before the fight begins. And you know what you will do? You'd step forward, shaking but forward. And that's strength, not force, not bravado. Believe. And that's what you need right now. There's a version of you listening right now that already knows this. The version that survived before belief had language. The version that adapted without applause. The version that rose when no one was watching. That part never left. It just went quiet while you listened to fear. Oh, yes, it did. And tomorrow, fear will show up again. Not as danger, but as hesitation. And when it does, you don't overpower it. You don't negotiate with it. You remember who you are. Someone who adapts. Someone who rises to the occasion. Oh yes, that's who you are. So here's the question that matters. What challenge will you face now? Not because you're ready, but because you trust yourself to rise. Pick the one you've been circling, the one fear that you keep disguising as bad timing, and step in. Let adaptation meet you there. Strength is in confidence. Strength is belief, and belief is what keeps you standing, especially when everything else gives out. Oh yes. Listen to what I'm about to say. You are not fragile. You are adaptable. You are calibrated by pressure. Fear doesn't disqualify you. It confirms you're alive. And belief? Oh, belief. Belief is the spine that doesn't bend. Strength isn't fearless. It's unbreakable. And not a lot of people understand that. But you need to remember this. The choice is yours. And that's it for today. If this hit you in the gut, good. That's your signal to wake the hell up. No more waiting for clarity. Create it. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next breakthrough. Share this with someone stuck in their head, and let's build a world of self-led warriors. This is the Bad Influence Podcast. Until next time, think sharper, live louder, never settle, and have a good day.